What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. It would appear that Hollywood comedians are whining about cancel culture. Well, I don't really have any time for comedians who didn't stand up for their fellow comedians when they were getting canceled, who didn't defend Louis C.K., who all hid cowardly in fear of their own cancellation. But he's absolutely correct here. Chris Rock says cancel culture creates unfunny and boring comedy. Well, of course, nobody wants to go to a feminist poetry slam, or no, the idea that like woke comedy isn't an oxymoron is baffling to me. But people still support it. You could see you're not owed laughs because someone told you were once funny. It's your job to stay funny. And if the only jokes you can make is going after vulnerable people and people find it no longer funny, then that's a you problem, not a cancel culture problem. And they were immediately ratioed. Absolutely right. Very true. 100% correct. Everybody gets it. Do you think Eddie Murphy Raw could be produced in 2021? The only comedian that I can say really stood by his craft, their craft, was Dave Chappelle, mainstream comedian. Most of them have been in hiding. Anybody who would have been edgy before has basically been in hiding or canceled. This article via The Independent, Chris Rock says cancel culture creates unfunny and boring comedy content. Comedian and actor Chris Rock has claimed, we already know, cancel culture is a term used to describe a mass shaming or condemnation of individuals, often celebrities, who have done or said something that has been construed as offensive. That's actually a good definition of it. If this was on like a leftist website, it would have just said it is offensive, or they would, support it in some way. But I think this is a fair definition. Rock made the comments while appearing on The Breakfast Club earlier this week after he was asked how cancel culture had impacted comedy. Quote, "It's weird when you're a comedian, because when you're a comedian, the audience doesn't laugh. We get the message. You don't really have to cancel us because we get the message. They're not laughing," said the former Saturday Night Live star. "Our feelings hurt when we do something that people aren't laughing at. We get it. I don't understand why people feel the need to go beyond that." You know what I mean? He continued, "Honestly, to me, it's disrespect. It's people disrespecting the audience like, oh, you think you know more than the audience? The audience knows more than everybody. Okay, but hey, some things don't need to be said." Rock said that the fear of being criticized for problematic remarks has resulted in a lack of risk-taking among comedians as unfunny comedians and unfunny content across film and TV. Well, I talk about this all the time. If you look at these late night shows, these late night quote unquote comedians have gradually morphed into political pundits, and their sketches or their monologues don't actually aim for laughs. What they aim for is applause, and that's a very different thing. Applause is something, people do when they agree with the things that you're saying, not because they're necessarily entertained. Sure, you can applause at a music concert or something like that to show that you've enjoyed it, or after a movie, but the kind of applause late night show hosts are getting are the boring orange man bad, am I right applause. He goes on to say, "Some people need to be looked out for," he added. "I definitely understand that, but not letting comedians work is, what happens is everybody gets safe, and when everybody gets safe and nobody tries anything, things get boring. Everybody's scared to make a move. That's not a place to be. We should have the right to fail because failure is a part of art." Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but, this is coming from a guy, hold on, he was also canceled because of some past jokes. Didn't he bow out of hosting something because he made, that was another black comedian, was it Chris Rock? I'm not exactly sure, but here on the New York Post, he says exactly the same thing. It's particularly pointless to target comedians because they already face the ultimate cancel of their jokes failing. Well, yeah, I would agree with that. Last week, Donald Glover, the 37-year-old actor and director, also known as rapper Childish Gambino, tweeted, "We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes because people are afraid of getting canceled. Now, the media tried to portray that as he was talking simply about, a television show is being canceled, and the left was saying that, and the right was saying that he was talking about cancel culture. I would say it's pretty clear that it was about cancel culture. Comedy is basically dead. There are some people out there like telling it like it is still. Ultimately, though, he's right. If you look at these comments, he's not wrong. He's absolutely right. I can't tell you the last time I wanted to pay money to see a comedian. Actually, it was Kevin Hart. That's who it was. Who had, what was it, the Grammys, if I remember right? Yeah, Oscars. So if we go back to 2018, Kevin Hart was forced to step down as the Oscars host. I don't find Kevin Hart particularly funny, but I appreciate his hustle. I mean, he's very, very popular. 2 days after Kevin Hart announced that he was hosting the 2019 Academy Awards, the comedian abruptly stepped down after a series of past phobic tweets surfaced. And here's what they are. It isn't funny either. You look like a gay version of Chris Brown. Put on a shirt, you bundle of sticks, we'll say. What's going on with Wayne and all this gay stuff? Say it ain't so, man. Is he coming out of the closet? These are tweets from 2010. Affecting him in 2018. Times change. When I was young, you would, the bundle of sticks word and gay was something, kids call each other all the time. It was never really about them actually being of that persuasion, but it was like used as an insult flippantly. Obviously, everyone grows and learns like, hey, hey, this word is, meant to disparage people in the LGBTQ community and, maybe reserve use of that for like the correct times, which are rare, these days. But, you see Adam Very saying, after seeing this tweet, I did a search for every time Kevin Hart tweeted the bundle of six words homo or gay. It was a lot. And he seems to have basically stopped tweeting those words after 2011, the year his first stand-up movie became a hit. So what this tweet is saying is that Kevin Hart learned from his mistakes, learned that it was no longer acceptable to make these jokes or use this terminology, and stopped, but we're going to cancel him anyway. What's the point then? That's why I want comedians to really start pushing back and say, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to just say whatever I want, whenever I want, get offended. I don't care. Like, comedians have more platforms now than ever. 5 years ago, they needed their Netflix specials or they needed their, big venues. But really, they have podcasts, they have Spotify, they have YouTube, they have innumerable ways to get their acts out and monetize them. So yeah, I agree with Chris Rock. But I couldn't care less when it's coming from Hollywood, like lily livers. Like, get out there and, support your fellow comedians and speak out more often about this PC culture stuff. Otherwise, it just sounds self-serving. Like you're bummed that you can't, that you specifically can't make some old joke that you want to make. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.